What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, right now there's probably 3 teams that would sign Russell Westbrook under one condition. And, you know, really that condition being that he's not the only part of the deal that they get. Because honestly, no matter who's interested in Russell Westbrook or who has any type of interest for him, they want more than just him if possible. And, you know, every other team is in the driver's seat when they're negotiating with the Lakers right now because the Lakers don't have that leverage because Russell Westbrook played so poorly in regards to his standards. Last year, he played so poorly compared to how he usually does. It really puts the Lakers in a bind having him, and it puts other teams in the driver's seat who are at least maybe thinking about or have a thought of acquiring him. Now, 3 teams right now. You got Cleveland, you got his old team, OKC, and you got his other old former team, which recently was the Washington Wizards. You know, those are the 3 teams right now that have an opportunity or that, you know, would possibly look at Russell Westbrook based upon, the reports and everything that's out there. Now, you can check out Bleacher Report or Lake Show for Life. They another one that, has some reports and some things out there as far as him and some other interesting topics as well. But for the main part is, like I said, Russell Westbrook is a wild card right now. I mean, honestly, you know how great of a player he can be. You know he's a top 75 player, but in the last part of his resume, which was last year, he didn't play like that. So teams really have the upper hand in regards to the Lakers looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, we got Russell Westbrook, we can offer him to you. If you get him off our hands, we'd be grateful. And that's basically where the Lakers are kind of carrying it, because really there's no other way to look at it at this point, because like I said, every other team, has the upper hand right now in regards to negotiations for him, just because he didn't play up to the level of a top 75 player last year, or not even remotely close. And, the thing is, like I said in yesterday's video, or, a few videos before that, everybody's saying all the right things with the Lakers, but it doesn't matter about the right things being said unless the actions really match it. And the only way that we're going to be able to tell that is in the beginning of next season to see if there is any type of, better movement or better everything than what they put out there last year. This past year was just an atrocity of a season for them, and it looked like it was only getting worse. If there were 90 plus games in a season, they would have lost the rest of those games as well. I mean, it just looked like it was getting worse by the minute, with them. So if they're able to find a way to rebound and play better, that would be good, especially Russell Westbrook, because if he can find a way to at least rebound and play better than what he did last year, even though he only missed like 1 or 2 games last year, he was very reliable in regards to that. Just wasn't reliable on the court enough to actually help them. And like I said before, it's not all Russell's fault, but at the same time, he's going to take the blame because he's the 3rd guy on the team. He's the 3rd star on the team. It's LeBron first, AD, and then him. And like I said, when you're the 3rd guy, a lot of times you're the fall guy on the team. You see what I'm saying? You take the blunt of what is not going right, and when things do go right, it's the 1 and 2 best players on the team that gets all the credit. So I mean, that's just the way it goes, and Russ definitely should know that based upon being on teams with a lot of talent before. But it's really amazing when you think about Russ, and I ain't gonna say it's crazy, I should say that instead of amazing. It's crazy that Russ has played with so much talent throughout his career and never even had a championship. It's crazy, but but at the same time, it goes to show Russell Westbrook's IQ for the game is not as high as some people might think it is, just because he's able to average a triple-double throughout the season. It's just more or less he had an opportunity to have the green light to do what he wanted to do on OKC because there was nobody else there after James Harden left, and then KD left, so for Russ, I think he's more worried about his businesses and, his stuff off the court more than what's on the court. At least that's the way he kind of came off to me last year. And his gameplay showed that. I think if Russ is a little bit more engaged in playing basketball and making that his first priority rather than his businesses and his investments outside of work, I think Russ would play a lot better, and I think he'd be more valuable for the team and what they need going forward to possibly win more and, possibly even win a championship, because they do got a big three. It's just not working, and it just hasn't worked up to this point. And I just think LeBron's over, playing with Russ because he doesn't see the dedication. He doesn't see the hungriness, the drive, that Russ usually play with. Russ usually play with that edge, that drive every single night. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what LeBron thought he would get out of him. And with that drive and mentality and ferociousness that Russ usually plays with, I felt like LeBron thought he can, maybe, add a few things to Russ's game, kind of like, give him a few pointers here and there that can help him out a little bit more in regards to just being a more well-rounded player. But as I said, Russ is just not really ready for that, and that's not where Russ is. So I don't think, LeBron really, made a good decision there. And I think LeBron really sees now he didn't make a good decision, in regards to that. So, like I said before, it's going to be tough, trying to get rid of Russell Westbrook because his contract is so high, $47 million, I believe. And it's just too high for a player who didn't play remotely close to a top 75 player or didn't play remotely close to a superstar at the least. And that's a problem if you're so-called top 75 player. So, these teams that are looking at Russell Westbrook that have interest in him, they do have interest in him, but they also have interest in more if the Lakers are willing to give up more to get rid of Russell Westbrook. It all really depends how bad the Lakers want to get rid of this guy. That's pretty much where it falls at right now, because teams are really, they're looking at the offer, but in so many words, in so many ways, they're looking at it like, we'll take Russell Westbrook, but it's got to be more incentives added with him, because he's definitely not played up to the level of a top 75 player, at least this past year, which is the most updated part of his resume. And we need more. We would like more if we're able to do that. Now, the Washington Wizards, he did play for them, so I thought maybe they would take him back with open arms, but that's even a process as well. If that's the case, if the Lakers are able to try to make that happen, that's going to be a process also, and especially with Cleveland and the other teams, because Cleveland especially already has a good team. So it's like, if they got Russell Westbrook, that would be a dream for them. But at the same time, what would they have to give in return, or how would they find a way to acquire him and fit him in with that type of contract? When they got other contracts they have to deal with, there now and upcoming, and you could say the same for other teams as well. So that's why I said Russ is just he's just stuck. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a crazy situation for the Lakers, because they're stuck with a player they can't do anything with because nobody wants, just because of what they saw last year and how a lot of people are believing now that he really ruined the Lakers more so than anybody else, but like I said, you get all the blame when you're the third guy or third star on the team, but at the same time, or at least in this situation, you get all the blame as a third star on the team, maybe not others, but for Russ, it's really a tricky situation. And I don't know how Russ is going to come back this next season and be just ready to play and upbeat and everything, because all the trade talk and everything has got to get to him, or has gotten to him by now. So I'm anticipating to see what happens. I personally, as I said before, I think Russ will be there next year, but we'll see what happens and we'll see how it pans out. If he finds a way to another team, I wouldn't be surprised also, because the Lakers are definitely trying to get rid of him. I mean, they're definitely making that probably more obvious than any other team I've ever seen, try to make a situation obvious. So we'll see what happens and see how it pans out. But at some point, Russ is definitely not going to be in a Lakers uniform, I believe. I just believe this upcoming season he will. I just think the following season after that might be the time for him to go. And I definitely think that the Lakers will definitely make that happen as soon as they can. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.